Hey, what's up, peeps? How you doing? It's your friend Phil here, project management trainer and coach. It's Saturday, and I'm here in a parking lot, like many of you probably will be, or are. And I'm just wondering how much of the time you spend in the parking lot is maximized. I mean, you might be waiting for someone to come out of a store, or waiting to go into a store, maybe waiting for them to open up, or whatever that might be. But I'm curious to know how much of that time do you spend prepping for your exam? You've got a lot of free time that you actually could be using to study for the exam. Waiting in the doctor's office, hanging around outside the mall, waiting for someone to come out or waiting to go in, maybe having lunch. There's so many opportunities. But being a Saturday, I know Saturday's the day we do a lot of running around, trying to hustle. I know some people studying for the exam are actually Uber drivers. Can you imagine? Uber drivers are studying to take the PMP exam. I mean, I can't believe how many people say I don't have time, but I see people hustling, driving an Uber cab and at the same time doing a real full-time job, and they still have time to study. You see, I was in an Uber cab in Minnesota after doing a training up there for one of the Fortune 500s, and I get into a chit chat with this Uber driver, and he tells me what he's doing, and I tell him what I'm doing, and he says, "Oh, I'm actually studying for the PMP exam," and he whisks out a book, a well-known book that he's using to study for the exam. And this has happened more than twice. In fact, 3 times I have run into Uber drivers who are studying for the PMP exam. Unbelievable. So anyway, my main point is you've got a lot of time. You may not consider it the typical study time, but if you took that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you immersed yourself into the student seat, maybe by listening to audio, maybe by, doing a quick quiz on your phone. Those of you who have PDF flashcards, playing some quizzes with yourself on that, PDF flashcard download that we've got out there on Praizion.com. Or, there's so many other things you could be doing apart from listening or playing quizzes, playing games, or, quizzes. There are other things, even a simple study of page 61 to test yourself. If you're reading the 5th edition, page 61, if you're reading the 6th edition, page 25, there's so many different things that you could do with just a tiny little bit of time that you have. For me, Saturdays was an opportunity for me to get myself out of work and immerse myself into the world of the PMI. Now, I hear from a lot of people say, "Phil, I don't have that luxury. I've got a big family. I've got games I need to go to, soccer I need to go to, football I need to go to, basketball, and so on." But I want you to think about getting some commitment from your stakeholders. Stakeholders, I mean your family. You might need to let them know, hey, for a while, I'm going to have to zero in on this PMP thing, and give yourself a realistic time frame. I've had so many students that take time out with permission from their families to zero into the world of the PMI, because trust me, if you do not do this intentionally, if you do not think about how to get out of the daily grind and spend some concentrated time on PMP and getting certified, it could be very hard. And you might find yourself doing this for months on end, maybe even years on end. So my advice would be to use some weekends. Some weekends. It doesn't have to be every weekend for the next year. I'm talking about every weekend for the next 1 month. What would happen if for every weekend for the next 1 month, you went to your public library with your PMBOK guide, your study guide, your pmsucceed.com account for the PMP study, whatever it is, and honed in to study for 8 hours every Saturday. Can you imagine doing that? It would be awesome. You would get a boatload of mileage in. Let's be realistic. Let's say your library is open by 9 o'clock. So from 9 to 5, I know it's like another job, but imagine the kind of mileage you're going to get out of that. Instead of being on the sidelines and saying, oh, people have time to study, I don't. And it's the same thing over and over again. Just take time out. Use your Saturdays. Hone in. Do it. Otherwise, you find yourself on the treadmill of life. You study for one day, then you don't study for 10 days. Then you study for another day, then you've forgotten half of what you studied before. No, no, no. It needs some constant intentionality. You know, you have to be intentional about this stuff. You might want to go watch my video about how to study for 4 hours a day. But I think that Saturdays are a good day for you to really dive into the world of the PMI. For me, unfailingly, 8 hours every Saturday is what it was back in 2005 when I took the exam. You're going to have to be intentional. Okay? So this video is to free up your mind from the I don't have time syndrome. A lot of people give me the excuse, I don't have time. But on Saturdays, they spend all their Saturdays out having a good time. And there's nothing wrong in having a good time. I'm just saying, for a month, focus on nothing but PMP. Load up on it. Get high on it. Shoot it up. Get high on PMP and PMBOK, and within 4 weeks, you're free. And that's it. And honestly, that's how to tackle any certification there is. You know, you're going to have to load up. You're going to have to concentrate and dive into it. Otherwise, it's going to take you a long period of time to get it done. I know sometimes, maybe because of health or other things in life, it's hard. But if none of those things is the issue, it might just be a commitment thing. You know, a student said, oh, Phil, I don't think I'm going to do the 5th. I'm going to do the 6th. Why are you giving up? Yeah, I know that you were busy for the past 2 months, but hey, you've got December, January, February, March, 4 months. That is more than enough time to slay this exam. So who you fooling? You ain't fooling me. I know you just don't want to do it. You don't see it as being important, and that's okay. And not everyone needs to see getting a certification as being important. But if your life and your career and your family depend on it, I know there was big stakes when I took the exam. I knew I absolutely had to get certified because I was fed up of where I was and I wasn't making enough. And I knew that the ticket to getting more pay was getting certified. So what did I do? Got certified. Within less than a month of getting the PMP, I had some well-known defense aero company come calling, and several months after, yet another aero company came calling. And that's what helped my career take off like never before. Yeah, I was managing projects. Yeah, I was, involved in a lot. But my career took off like a rocket after getting certified. I'm not saying everyone's the same. I'm not saying the results are going to be even and across the board. But I'm quite sure that a lot of people are like me. They're tired of where they are and they just want a boost. You never know what's going to make that big boost for you in your career. I hear a lot of people saying all kinds of things about certifications, be it PMP or ACP or CSM or whatever. But don't judge people's passion to get certified with your yardstick of what matters. Because for some people, it's that certification that's the silver bullet. Seriously. The number of inroads I've had to tons of firms and entities, without the PMP, those associations wouldn't be there. And I'm talking about all manner of companies I've worked for or trained. Those opportunities wouldn't have been there. You see? Everywhere from food to cosmetics to pharmaceutical to biotechnical to healthcare to engineering to IT, people find value. And I keep hearing this years after I've delivered training, not just to get certified, but to be a better project manager, more well-rounded. I hear the same thing. So if you know your career, is in a kind of in the stocks and you want to get it moving again, and or you've been feeling that conviction, most of the times we have that hunch that, oh, if I can do this will happen. Lots of you are like that. You're feeling it. I need to get this done, but is the pain that you're going through enough to drive you and spur you into action? A lot of people, the pain it's not there yet, because if it was, you wouldn't be giving me the lame namby-pamby excuse, I don't have time. Anyway, enough said. I hope you have a great Saturday, whatever you're doing, and I shall be speaking to you again in the near future. I shall be that voice that keeps saying, get certified, get certified. All right, take care. Bye for now.